Hey guys, Fan here again, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a comprehensive guide on the runes in this game, Summoner's War Sky Arena. So I'm going to be talking about all the different things that constitute a rune. There's about 3 or 4 different things that you really need to focus on if you want to pick out the absolute best runes for your squad. And these things are not very clear because I don't think there's any explicit explanation of what they do in the game itself. So, I think a lot of people are going to benefit from this, ranging from beginners all the way to experts of this game. So, without further ado, I'm going to start. And the first thing that I want to cover is the number of stars each rune has. Now, as you can see here, I have a 5-star rune equipped on one of my heroes here, and obviously the star ranking goes all the way from 1 star to 6 stars in this game. And you might be asking, well, of course 6 star is better than 1 star, but what do the stars actually mean? What do they really do? What's the benefit? And basically, as far as I can tell, what stars do is higher starred runes are going to get more attributes. They're per level of power up you do. And what that means is that, just to give an example, let's take this vampire rune on the top here, and let's say it's only 1 star. So if it was only 1 star, every time I powered it up, it would only get like plus 1% or plus 1, let's say plus 1% defense. So let's say it starts at like 5% and I powered it up 15 times. Well, that 1-star rune is going to end up at plus 20% defense at level 15, which is max level. Now if you have a 3-star rune, it might be plus 2% per level up. And what that's going to end up is, if it's plus 2% and it started at 5%, then the 3-star rune is going to be plus 35% defense. And obviously if it's 5-star, it might have even higher, right? It might be plus 3% per level of power up, and it'll end at an even higher spot. And basically this is what runes do. The higher level star on your rune, the more attributes you get per level of power up. And of course what this means is that at level 15, the higher star your rune is, the better it's going to be. And it's important to note that this is not a linear process. It's pretty much exponential. So, a level 15 5-star rune is going to be exponentially greater than a level 15 3-star rune. And a level 15 3-star rune is going to be exponentially better than a level 15 1-star rune. So the first thing you want to keep in mind is how many stars a rune has, because those stars dictate how much attribute you're gonna get. And by the way, I think most people already know this, but the only thing you can upgrade is the primary attribute, which is the one on the top. So this is the only thing that's going to go up in value when you power it up. It's also worthy to note that, at level 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15, you have a chance to get an additional kind of property. And what that means is that you get an additional line here. These are all different properties: defense, HP, attack, resistance, percentage HP versus flat HP, etc. So that's what that means. So, okay. The first thing you need to look out for is how many stars a rune has, and I think good runes are 4 stars and above. Now obviously if you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. You just kind of want to get whatever runes you have to finish a set. And as you progress through the game, as you move on to more intermediate and advanced levels, you're going to find yourself, choosing between various runes, and you're going to need some, indicator to really see which rune is better. So that's what I'm providing here. So the stars is the first indicator. The second indicator is going to be the rarity of the runes. Now what that means is basically what color did it come in. The best rarity is going to be legend, and this is going to be the orange runes. Now the second rarest is the purple, which is hero runes, and the third rarest is going to be rare, which is the blue runes. After that, there's going to be green and white, but I don't think I have any of those runes, so I'm not going to show you here. And that's kind of just how the order of rarities falls in. And basically, what rarity means is it shows you how many lines, how many different attributes your rune originally came with. So a purple rarity rune with no prefix is going to have 4 modifiers, at the very start. So just when you found it, it's going to probably have 4 modifiers. If you found it in legend rank, that most likely means it has 5 modifiers, as you found it. So the rarity really just describes how many different attributes are on that rune. And it's important to note that as you upgrade your rune, at those breakpoints, level 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15, where you might gain an additional attribute. If you do gain an additional attribute, then your rune is going to level up in rarity as well. However, a rune that started with legend is still better than a rune that got upgraded to legend. Because, let's say you upgraded a rune to legend and it has 5 stats. Well, that rune could have started as like a white or green rune and you just got lucky and, added on different stats as you were upgrading it. But if you had a legend rune that just started out as a legend rune, then that rune can have, up to 7 or 8 different stat lines, I believe. So obviously that's going to be a lot better. So you want to look at the rarity of the original rune. And basically the best rarities, or the rarities that I consider viable, are rare and above. I won't use anything that's lower than rare, and even if it's rare, it better have a lot of stars in order to justify that. Usually I look only for hero and legend rank runes. So that's the second part. You always want to look at the rarity, and the rarity basically tells you how many attributes the rune started with. Now, one kind of additional comment I have on this, and the third part of my rune guide, is going to be the prefix of the runes. So you'll notice here that this one only says energy rune, right? But this one, there's a cruel in front of it. It says cruel swift rune. And the cruel here is a prefix. And what that prefix means is, each of the prefixes are attached to a certain type of attribute. So cruel is critical damage. And basically, if you find a rune with a prefix, it means that it comes with an additional attribute that's bound to, whatever prefix it is. So as you can see here, normally the blue runes are only 3 attributes, right? But this one has 4 because it has a prefix added onto it. It's pretty much the same for all kinds of different runes. I can just show you a couple more here. For example, you see this one, blue, should only have 3. This one has 4 because it has the intricate prefix. And the intricate prefix is going to be accuracy plus 6%. So the prefix is always going to link to whatever the second line is there. And let's see here. So that's the second thing that you want to really be aware of. One more example. You can see powerful. Powerful is attack percentage. And if you're really looking for, the best possible rune, you're gonna want a rune that has high amount of stars, that is, very high in rarity, and it has the prefix. When I think for intermediate and even advanced players, it doesn't really matter too much what the prefix is. But if you're really at the end game, then you might wanna, you might want a rune that actually matches the prefix that you want for your squad. So that's the third part, and those are 3 very, very important things. And I guess the fourth thing I wanted to mention is just a subset of all 3 of those, and it has to do with your primary stat versus, your secondary stats. Now, your primary stat is going to be the line on top. It's going to be the first line. So for this energy rune, it's going to be attack plus 30%. For this swift rune, it's going to be attack plus 7. And when you're powering up runes, the only stat that will be changed, that will increase, is your primary stat. So you're basically powering up your primary stat as you power up your runes. The secondary stats don't really change. However, you do have, like I said, that chance to gain an additional property. And if for example this rune started out with all of these stats, and I powered it up at level 12 and I gained an additional property and it was HP percentage, then this could change, right? So it would, let's say I got plus another 4% HP as my level 12 bonus property, then this would change to 8%. But other than that, these won't change. So you really want to make sure that the primary stat is something that's useful for your monster. There's obviously monsters that sync up with different primary stats. Some monsters benefit a lot from defense. They have skills that specifically help with defense. Some have skills that help only with HP, some with speed, etc, etc. So make sure that the primary attribute is at the very least useful for your monster. And what I mean is, you don't want like a critical damage primary attribute if your monster has like 5% chance to crit or something ridiculous. Always make sure the primary stat is useful, and the good thing about this game is most primary stats will be useful, so you don't have to worry too much about that. I guess the way I would rank primary stats is, generally HP is better than defense. Those two are very similar, but HP is better. Speed is, I don't think speed can even be a primary stat, but speed is always very good as a secondary stat. Attack is really good. I prefer the percentages more than the flat ones, but I think they're both really good, and crit rate and crit damage is situational. It's good if you're specifically looking for those, if your monster crits a lot, but otherwise on normal monsters, I would say crit rate is okay and crit damage is awful if you don't have any crit rate. So that's about it for the runes. Obviously there's also a bunch of different types of runes, and I'm not going to talk too much about them, but basically the most popular ones are Energy for HP, Swift for speed. I see some people use Double Blade to get their crit rate up. I also see some Fatals for the attack damage. And by the way, generally Fatal is better than Blade unless you really need your monster to crit for a skill. And yeah, sometimes I also see focus runes if your monster has like an AoE stun that you really want to land, because focus improves accuracy. And those are the most common runes that I see. No one really uses the other ones too much. I experiment with the other ones sometimes, and it's giving me moderate amounts of success. One I kind of like right now is Vampire. It gives you lifesteal per attack, which is pretty good because my monster that's using it is heavily invested into attack. And it also has a skill, which is this one. It increases your attack power by 50% when your HP is higher than 50%. So I want to make sure my HP is high as possible with lifesteal there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know I rambled on a little bit at the end, but ultimately, just to really quickly recap, 4 things you need to look out for in runes. First thing is number of stars it has. Second thing is the rarity. The third thing is the prefix. And the fourth and last thing, of course, is going to be the main attribute, so the attribute that's on top. So look out for all of those when you're choosing your runes, and I hope this guide helped you in your decision making in this game a little bit. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to subscribe. I will be coming out with a lot more cool guides and whatnot about this game. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.